In many companies, energy, telecom and utility costs are handled the same way every month. Bills come in, someone reviews them, and they get paid. As long as everything is running well, these expenses usually don't get much attention. For businesses with multiple locations, these costs are often spread across different providers, contracts and billing systems. In some cases, they may also be handled by different teams. That can make it more difficult to see the full picture or notice changes in spending. The information is there, but it is not always organized in a way that makes it useful. At GETCHOICE, this is the problem Javier Loya is focused on solving. As chairman, he helps guide a platform designed to bring that fragmented information into one place. By using data, analytics and operational insight, GetChoice gives businesses a better idea of how their energy, telecom and utility costs are set up across locations and vendors. With that level of visibility, businesses can begin to move from reactive expense management to proactive decision-making. Patterns become easier to identify, inefficiencies are no longer hidden in different systems, and decisions that once relied on incomplete information can now be made with context. The platform is designed to work alongside existing systems, helping make information more transparent and easier to use so that businesses have greater control over how resources are used and how costs are managed. Before founding GetChoice, Loya was focused on a different kind of inefficiency. In 2007, he founded OTC Global Holdings after recognizing a gap in energy and commodity markets. At the time, he saw that while energy markets were essential to the global economy, the infrastructure supporting commodity trading was often inefficient and lacked transparency. That created an opportunity to rethink how those systems could be improved. At the same time, he was entering an industry dominated by firms that had been around for decades, with established relationships, global reach, and the resources to control much of the market. Trying to compete the same way would not have left much room to grow. We realized we couldn't win by doing things the traditional way, Loya said. We had to innovate faster and empower our team more aggressively. That mindset was not only a strategic decision, but also a reflection of how Loya was raised. He grew up in a Mexican-American family where ownership and hard work were part of everyday life. My inspiration really came from a mix of upbringing and curiosity, he explained. My parents believed deeply in building something of your own rather than waiting for opportunity to arrive. That mindset stuck with me. Instead of accepting these limitations, he focused on improving them. At OTC Global Holdings, teams were given the ability to make decisions without layers of approval, allowing the company to move quickly and adapt as conditions change. I believe people perform at their best when they feel true ownership in what they're building, Loya said. At OTC Global Holdings, we empowered teams to make decisions. At GETCHOICE, that same philosophy drives how we innovate and serve clients. As the company grew, it expanded internationally, building relationships across global energy and commodity markets and increasing its presence in key trading hubs. Eventually, it became the world's largest independent interdealer commodity brokerage. After nearly 2 decades of growth, the company entered its next phase through a strategic transaction with BGC Group, marking a major milestone and validating the platform that had been built. As Javier Loya moved into his next phase, he began to notice a similar pattern in a very different area. This time, it was not global trading systems, but something more routine: energy, telecom and utility expenses. What stood out was not just how companies handled these costs, but how rarely they analyzed them. Pricing adjusted, usage fluctuated, and contracts renewed, yet none of those changes connected to a broader strategy. That realization led to the idea behind GetChoice. When we began building the platform, many people saw utility management as a back-office administrative function, Loya said. We saw it as a massive opportunity to apply technology, analytics and strategy to help organizations control billions of dollars in spend. Instead of treating these costs as static line items, GetChoice looks at them as part of a larger system. The platform pulls together data from different sources and organizes it in a usable way. It shows businesses where their costs come from, how they change over time, and where they have room to improve. That changes how companies operate. Instead of reacting after the fact, they can make decisions in real time, staying in control even as conditions change. As organizations scale, that level of insight becomes increasingly important. Managing energy, telecom and utility costs across multiple locations can become more complex and difficult to manage through manual processes alone. At the same time, expectations have changed. Businesses are not just trying to keep costs predictable. They want to run more efficiently, reduce waste, and make smarter long-term decisions. That is why visibility is so important. Energy efficiency today is not just about using less. It is about understanding how everything works together, where money is going, and where improvements can be made across the entire business. Platforms like GetChoice help companies see what is happening, understand why it is happening, and take action with confidence. Today, the ability to organize, analyze, and act on this type of data is not just an advantage. It is becoming a requirement. For Loya, building systems is only part of the equation. The other part is people. Building OTC Global Holdings from a startup into a global brokerage leader is certainly one of the achievements I'm proud of, he said. But what I'm most proud of is the ecosystem of people and opportunities that grew around the company. Many of the employees who joined the company did so early in their careers, eventually becoming industry leaders themselves. Across his companies, he has emphasized ownership, accountability and alignment as key drivers of performance. At both OTC Global and GETCHOICE, that means empowering teams to make their own decisions and innovate at every turn. The success of OTC Global, GetChoice, and any other venture I've been part of ultimately comes down to people, Loya said. The right team multiplies your potential. That philosophy extends beyond business. As a minority owner of the Houston Texans, Loya has seen how leadership culture shapes performance at the highest level. Elite organizations win because of leadership culture, Loya has said. Talent matters, but leadership alignment matters more. Whether in sports or business, the principle is the same. Strong systems matter, but they only work when the people behind them are aligned and empowered. The same idea carries into his community work. Through the Greater El Paso Showcase, Loya created a platform to give high school football players exposure to college recruiters. In one case, a player who had received little attention performed well at the event, was noticed by coaches, and went on to earn a college scholarship. For Loya, moments like that represent a different kind of impact. Ultimately, the greatest impact we can have isn't just building successful businesses, he said. It's opening doors for others. For Javier Loya, entrepreneurship has never been tied to a single company or industry. It is a way of looking at how things work and asking how they can work better. That perspective has shaped the way he approaches every opportunity, regardless of the problem in front of him. My inspiration has never been about one industry, Loya said. It's about building systems that create value and opportunity. GetChoice fits directly into that pattern. It focuses on something most businesses deal with every day, but rarely step back to fully understand. By bringing structure and visibility to energy, telecom, and utility systems, it turns something routine into something strategic. Across all of it, the focus is not just on the system itself. It is what that system makes possible. Success, for me, is measured by impact and longevity, he added. Financial success is one dimension, but the deeper question is whether you built something meaningful that lasts. Seen that way, GetChoice is not a change in direction. It is a continuation of the same idea, applied to a new set of challenges that businesses can no longer afford to ignore.